The following program is rated T for Teen for the use of tools and materials that can be harmful to unsupervised usage. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everyone, Mr. Waugh here from Mr. Waugh Media, and yes, that is my actual name, and today's bonus episode, as promised, Speed Painting Kill Team. Now, you might have caught the last bonus episode where we got an advanced bonus copy through Imperial Hobbies of the Kill Team Boxset. And in that video, I looked at the rule book, I looked at the sprues, I showed off some of the artwork, and I did give sort of a preliminary sort of reading of what I thought of some of the rules. And in that video, I made a promise that I would, as usual, being a glutton for punishment, do a speed painting challenge. Now, full disclosure, we had a sale this entire week for Imperial Hobbies' 35th anniversary, so I have been pressed for time. But I am a professional, I think, so I have faith in me. Who needs sleep? Let's jump in. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show on the road, shall we? Now, obviously, before I started even letting the cameras roll, I had already built the terrain pieces. The reason being, it was super easy. It's slot A into slot B. It took 5 minutes. It wasn't really worth an episode, I didn't feel. So I just built all the pieces off camera, and I quickly gave them a black primer spray. Once that had fully dried, I'm now going in with some brown. Let's get a reload here. There we go. And we're just going to slap that over all the surfaces, making sure that some of the black is still showing through. And yeah, not really much to talk about this layer. Just slap it on there, nice and good, and then we'll move on to the next phase. Ta-da! Alright, once the brown has had plenty of time to dry, we're going to go in there with a medium orange color. And this is going to get dry brushed across not everything, but a good chunk of it. You can see I'm sort of doing in little patches here and there to sort of represent a rust effect of the building. And let's face it, orcs are not known for their high maintenance of anything, so yeah, this works. Yeah, nice and quick and easy. Nothing too complex with that. And once again, we let that fully dry. We're now going to go in with some Gunmetal Silver. And this is going to get dry brushed over most of the surfaces, but in particular wherever there's a support beam or maybe a big slab of metal, that'll get a little bit more attention. So you're still seeing a bit of the brown and the orange underneath. You can still even see black in some places, and the silver is just a nice dusting on top. And already, with just a couple layers, this is already looking really fantastic, very grimy, and yeah, nice, quick, and easy paint job. Works great on the little pieces as well. You can see here, it's really coming together. Alright, next we're going to start working with some bronze, and this is going to be kind of the yin to the yang with the silver, as both of them will be used on the larger areas, some of the pipes, the wiring, just to make it really stand out, make it a little bit different. Remember that the orcs have probably clobbered this together with scraps from all kinds of vehicles and buildings, so there's going to be sort of a smorgasbord of different metals they would have hauled in here. So some of these plates are going to be left just a generic bronze. They might get a little bit of highlighting with some copper. Some of them might get a little bit of gold trim on them. But the beauty of this is you can just slap down this copper color pretty much anywhere you want. And depending on what you highlight it with, you got some options. So right now, you know what? Let's use the big glyph on the front here as well. That with a little bit of silver and gold, that's going to really pop out after. Alright, now as I just mentioned, the bronze is going to be a really good launching point for some other metallic colors that we'll use here. I'm going to put a little copper here and there, a little bit of gold trim in different places, but at this point it really is dealer's choice. This is a ramshacked building, there's no rhyme or reason to it, it's just, you know, whatever you make of it. Follow your heart. Yeah, that's my solid advice. And you too could own this hunk of junk. Oh yeah, it's really coming together here, and I think, you know what, I'm actually pretty much done. I went back and I noticed like there's some black tires. I did a little bit of touch up on those just to make sure they weren't scuffed up too bad. But once I was completely satisfied, I'm going in with my old trusty companion, Agrax Earthshade. Now, if you don't happen to have this on hand, not to worry. You could just go in with some black or some brown paint, heavily water it down so it seeps into all the cracks, until, voila, you get something that looks a little like this. This was quick, super easy, and you know what? This looks really, really solid. Very orky. And this is what some of the other pieces look like. So we have our oil refinery here. This was a really nice one to put together. And yeah, same technique, same colors as, voila, the second wall piece. Again, identical. Looks solid. Looks great. Be the envy of all your friends in your neighborhood. You too could own this garbage heap. But wait, folks, there's more. That's right, here's that tire heap I was talking about with a little bit of gloss black on there. Makes them look good as new. Well, I mean, not really. Still looks like garbage heap, but that's okay. Same with this one right here. Being held together by duct tape and broken dreams, kind of like my life right now. That's okay. And the last part here, folks, if you're interested, we have wall segments. Look at that. It's a beauty. That's not going to keep anything out, is it? No, not at all.
Not likely.
Oh, thanks, voice in the head. Stay classy. All right, as you can see here, you're getting 5 full buildings and a bunch of scatter-terrain pieces, which covers the board quite nicely. But one thing that kind of stood out was the fact that you can actually snap the walls together. As you can see here, you can connect them like this, or, as you just saw previously, lengthwise, which means you can take all 4 pieces and snap them together into one large orc building, which looks amazing. You stick that oil rig on top of it, a little bit of scattered terrain, and voila, we got ourselves a full orc fortress. It went together nice and easy, it painted up really well. I think you guys are going to be pretty happy with this one. But now we got to work on the inhabitants, so we're going to work on the Orc Commandos. Obviously, I built the model, and then we gave it a black primer. Once that had adequately dried, we're now going in with some brown and just dry brushing it over everything. Once that's fully dried, we're going to start working on the green flesh. First off, we're using Castilian green, and that's going to go over pretty much everything. Maybe a little bit of the brown and black will be showing in between the muscles, but for the most part, this is going to be the dominant green color over all of the fleshy areas. Once that's fully dried, we're going to go in with Lauren Forest, and this is going to be applied to the raised areas of the muscles on his arms, his neck, his face, and will become probably the dominant color. But you'll still see a little bit of the darker green underneath in certain areas. Once that had fully dried, we're going with Death Guard Green, and this is going to be used on the very topmost layers of the muscles on the biceps, the face, the neck, and that's it. Nice quick 3-part paint, and the flesh is done. Now we're going to go in there with some gunmetal. This is going to be used on any metallic area, so the gun blades, I think he's got a couple grenades scattered across him. Some of the other guys have got little gadgets and gizmos. So pretty much anything that's going to be metallic is going to get the gunmetal. Now, I did want to mention, for whatever reason, I'm having a hard time working with this camera right now. I don't know if it's my lighting, but some of the shots, when I try to show it off like this, they're not the cleanest, so I do apologize in advance for that. I'm working with what I got here and doing the best that I can. But we'll give it the old college try and we'll see what happens. Next up is time to work on the leather elements. For this one, we'll start with some dark chocolate brown and lay that over most of the major surfaces, and then dry brush it with some burnt umber, which gives us a nice two-tone, simple leather effect, as you can see here. Once that's fully dried, we're going to go in with a lighter brown known as Steel Legion Drab, and this will be dry brushed over some of the larger surfaces or a nice clean single line along the edge of his cloak perhaps, or his ball cap, and it really is going to make this whole thing just pop out. Again, quick and simple, it's 3 shades of brown, and eventually you're going to get a guy that looks like this. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied. I'll go in with a little bit of white on his teeth, and once all the elements are up to my standard, we're going to use Agrax Earthshade and put it over the entire model. And this is going to seep into all the cracks, give it some natural shadows, and yeah, what can I say? It's going to make him look brutal. Until finally, you get an ugly mugshot like this. I'm very satisfied with all these figures. This was incredibly fast. I think it's about 20 minutes a figure. It's quick, it's easy. It's 3 colors of green for the flesh, 3 colors for the leather, 1 layer, maybe 2 if you want to do a little copper on some of the metal elements. And yeah, it just went together fast. The bases are just a regular GW base with a little clockwork gear on there just to make it look kind of interesting. And yeah, I put a little bit of red here and there on the goggles and some other elements just to give another color for contrast purposes. But these guys went together nice and easy, and this is what my kill team looks like. The guy in the back's got that weird funky coil gun. That's just a couple shades of blue, and we're done. And I know there's a few of you out there that are thinking, the Commandos, that's all well and good, but we've seen them before. What about the debut for Plastic Deathcore? Well, here you go. Now, as you can see here from the image, I did build them, I did paint them, but the problem is I don't have any footage to show. The problem is, for whatever reason, my camera decided to fight me on this one the whole way. It was either blurry or out of focus, or the lighting was just terrible. And I don't really understand why, because this is my same setup that I've always used in different episodes. So I'm a little bit bummed out about that. The footage was just so subpar, and I don't want to put out a subpar product for you guys. If you are interested, the paint scheme is very quick and easy. It's the same leather as the orcs, the same metals, same clockwork gears that they're standing on. The only difference is, instead of green flesh, you're working with the robes. These ones are Stegodon Scale Green as your base coat, and dry brushing Dark Reaper. Now, I still have some of the guys left. If you do want me to do a full tutorial at a later date, I can try to get some better footage. But for now, unfortunately, you just get the still image. I hope you guys still like it. It's still a cool shot, but it's the best that I can do. Whew. Well, that has been today's episode. Hope you guys liked it, maybe found some useful information in there. If you did, make sure you hit the like, the share, subscribe down below, and please pass this out to all your friends. We're really trying to build the channel from the ground up. If there's anything that you want me to build in an upcoming episode, let me know in the comments down below, and maybe we'll be able to do it in the near future. On that note, I've been Mr. Waugh from Mr. Waugh Media. I hope you were thoroughly entertained.